Hello everyone, welcome to Michigan Man MTG, and we're back looking at the Teenage Mutant Ninja cards that were spoiled in the Lorwyn Eclipsed Pre-release kits, and we're looking now at the multicolors from that release. So let's dive into the cards. So first we've got Dark Leo and Shredder for 1 white and 1 black mana. Legendary creature that's a Mutant Ninja Turtle human and is a 1/3. It also has Sneak for a white and a black mana. And attacking ninjas you control have Death Touch. And when Dark Leo and Shredder deal combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 black ninja creature token. And then if you control 5 or more ninjas, that player loses half their life, rounded up. So this is a very playable standard card. The upside of it is pretty significant. Sneaking it in is going to get you your second ninja, and then if you're just playing ninjas in your deck, getting to that 5 is probably not going to be that difficult. And because of that, I think this is definitely standard playable, and giving all of your ninjas Death Touch is even better, because basically if your opponent blocks anything, it's going to lose that creature when that happens, and that's a pretty powerful ability in standard. Next, we've got Don and Leo, Problem Solvers for 3 into Azorius mana, legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Turtle. That's a 4/6 with Vigilance. In the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target artifact you control and up to 1 target creature you control. Then return them to the battlefield under their owner's control. Potentially playable again in our Orzhov Simulacrum Synthesizer deck, because you can, potentially go ahead and exile a artifact creature that's 3 mana or greater, and you can then also exile a artifact that's 3 mana or greater, and then you're getting 2 Simulacrum Synthesizer activations when you do that. So if it's going to see play at all, that's where it's going to see it. Next we have Don and Raph, Hard Science for 1 and 2 hybrid Izzet mana. Legendary creature that's a Mutant Ninja Turtle and a 2/4 with Menace. And whenever Don and Raph attack, the next non-creature spell you cast this turn has affinity for artifacts. It costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. So again, this is a card that in an Artifact Matters deck, you can cast some pretty big artifacts because of that ability, if you've got a number of them kind of sitting on the battlefield. And throughout the previews, I've talked about the weapons manufacturing deck, where this could easily go in there, or it could go in the Simulacrum Synthesizer deck as well. So we'll just kind of have to see where it fits, if it does, in standard. Next, we've got Krang and Shredder for 6 and 2 hybrid Dimir mana. You get a legendary creature that's an Utram human ninja and a 6/7. And whenever Krang and Shredder enter or attack, each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. And it has Disappear. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, you may cast a card exiled with Krang and Shredder without paying its mana cost. So, very powerful ability on this. Are there some hoops you have to get through? Yes. And is 6 mana probably too much for standard? Yes. But if we do have a deck that could use this, then I think it's definitely playable, because being able to cast your opponent's spells is always going to be a powerful thing in standard, but probably where this fits best is going to be in Commander. Next, we've got The Last Ronin for 4, a black and a green mana. You get an enchantment, that's a saga. On chapter 1, you destroy all creatures, so it's a board wipe when you cast this card, and then on chapter 2 you get to mill 4 cards. Then when you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, so you get to take back in essence your best creature when you mill. And then on chapter 3, whenever a creature you control attacks alone this turn, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. It gains Trample, Lifelink, and Indestructible until end of turn. Again, this is another card that I don't think sees standard play because we've got better board wipes for 4 and 5 mana. And because of that, probably going to see most of its play in Commander. Now, it might have some relevance in our sacrifice decks, where you maybe play a copy of this as another way to kind of get your best creature out of the graveyard, and then as a result of that, then you get the benefits of that. But outside of that, I'm really not seeing a place for this in Standard. Next, we've got Mikey and Don, Party Planners for 2 and 2 Simic mana. Legendary creatures, Mutant Ninja Turtles, that are a 3/3 with Ward 2. And the Ward 2 on this, I think, is going to make it a better card and more likely to see Standard play. And first, you may look at the top card of your library at any time, so that's actually very helpful, kind of that preview of what comes next. And you may play lands and cast mutants, ninjas, or turtle spells from the top of your library. You may cast a creature spell this way. That creature enters with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. So I think the ability on Mikey and Don, they're good enough to see Standard play. I'm just not seeing a deck right now where this is going to fit into. But if we have one develop over time that's either a mutant deck, a ninja deck, or a turtle deck, or a combination thereof, then I think Mikey and Don have Standard playability in that style of deck. Next, we've got Mikey and Leo, Chaos and Order for 2 Selesnya mana. Okay, so this is the cheapest one of the cards we've seen so far. That's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle combo card. Legendary creature, again, Mutant Ninja Turtle, and a 2/2. And whenever you put a counter on a creature you control, you get to draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Again, this is a card that could very easily go in our Roboroid decks, or even our decks that are doing the landfall triggers. So I think this has got definitely some playability in Standard, because the ability to just draw cards from playing the game, I think, is very powerful. Next, we've got Northwind Avatar for 2 blue mana and a red mana. You get a Dragon Spirit Avatar, that's a 5/5 with flying. And whenever this creature enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you may put a card you own from outside the game into your hand. So what that's saying is you can go get a card out of your sideboard when you cast this, which is really a powerful ability in Standard and in some other formats as well, to be able to get that card outside of the game. So because of that, I do think that there is some Standard playability for this card, because again, as long as you're casting it, you're going to be able to go get a card, and typically that's a significant advantage in game 1 of a best-of-3 match. Next, we've got Raph and Leo, sibling rivals for 1 and 2 hybrid Boros mana. Legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Turtle, and a 2/4. And whenever Raph and Leo attack, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, untap 1 or 2 target attacking creatures. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. I want to believe that this card is good, but we've seen cards like this over the last year and a half that give you the ability to have an extra combat turn. And if you've got cards with Vigilance, maybe that works. But I'm a little skeptical of it for that reason. But if you are able to get it into a deck and get that second attack phase, particularly if you've got flying creatures, that can really very quickly, create a very bad situation for your opponent and hopefully win you the game in a turn or two. Next, we've got Raph and Mikey, Troublemakers for 5 and 2 Gruul mana. So the most expensive of the turtle combos we've seen so far. Legendary creature, again, Mutant Ninja Turtle, and a 7/7. It's got Trample and Haste. The haste on this makes it a little bit more playable. And whenever Raph and Mikey attack, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So very powerful in the sense that for 7 mana, you're getting to attack with it, and you get an additional creature when you attack that is also tapped and attacking. In limited, this is going to be a banger card. It's going to be very, very powerful. Your opponent probably doesn't have anything that can kill it. And every time you're attacking, you're going to get that additional creature every time you do it. And because of that, I think very good in limited, and potentially where I see this fitting probably the best is going to be, again, in Commander. All right, next we've got Splinter, Radical Rat for 1 and 2 Orzhov mana. You get a Mutant Ninja Rat, that's a 2/4. And if an ability of a ninja creature you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. And for 1 and a blue mana, target ninja can't be blocked this turn. So I think this is a card that is powerful. The limitation is that it has to be in a ninja deck. So if we do end up with a ninja deck, whether it's an Orzhov colors or Esper colors, then I think Splinter has the likelihood of seeing play in that, because doubling up your ninja triggers will be a powerful ability in Standard. Next, we've got Tonka and Razor, Terrible 2s for 2 Rakdos mana. You legendary creature that's a turtle wolf mutant and a 3/2. This spell can't be countered, and it has Menace, and whenever a player casts a spell, if the amount of mana spent to cast it was less than its mana value, Tonka and Razor deal 3 damage to that player. So if we do see a lot of mana reducing effects in Standard, then I think this is very Standard playable. We know currently that the Lessons deck does this fairly well, so maybe it's a sideboard option against those decks, but I'm not sure if we're going to see a lot of Lessons decks going forward based on how they performed at Regional Championship Portland until we get to the Strixhaven set. All right, and those were our multicolor cards from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that we saw in the Lorwyn Eclipsed Pre-release kits. And we've got one more video, and that's going to be talking about the colorless cards from the set.